Swamin namaste natalokabandho karunya sindho patitam bhavabdho मामुद्धरात्मीय कटाक्ष दृष्ट्या ऋज्व्याति कारुण्य सुधाभिवृष्ट्या स्वामिन्नमस्ते 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 Swamin Namaste. Yat Kirtanam, Yat Smaranam, Yadikshanam, Yad Vandanam, Yat Shravanam, Yadarhanam, Lokasya Sadyo Vidhunoti Kalmasham. Tasmai Subhadrashravase Namo Namaha. Tasmai Subhadrashravase Namo Namaha. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru. So we all go back to the Ganges bank along with all the rishis and maharshis, devarshis, rajarshis, the celestial beings, and many other people of the country who are surrounding Pareekshit and listening to Shukadeva. So let us visualize that scene and with lot of Shraddha listen to what Shukadeva is telling Pareekshit. What is he telling? Yesterday we saw that Vasudeva had asked Narada that what is the Bhagavata Dharma? What is the life of a devotee? How he acts, what he thinks, how he behaves in this world, and what his mind is full with. Then Narada tells him a story where Nimi Chakravarti had asked the Navayogis the same question. What is the ultimate good of man? What is the Bhagavata Dharma? And there, one by one, all the 9 yogis, they start talking. The first one was Kavi, who said that this world is full of tension, fear and anxiety for man. Everywhere you look, you will find, along with happiness, there is always tension, anxiety and fear. And if you want to remove fear and anxiety from your mind, what you should do is worship the holy lotus feet of Achyuta, who is unshakable, immovable, and who is the Vishwatma. He is the real entity. If we hold on to his feet, we will also be immovable and unshakable in life, and all our fear will be removed. Now the question is, how to worship Achyuta? What is that worship like? Is it the worship that we think of and we do? We go to temples, we sit near our puja shrine, lighting a lamp, incense sticks, chanting some shlokas and hymns, reading some good books, and we think that that is the worship. On some festive days, maybe we spend more time, we take vows, we take fast, and we feel that our worship is complete. What about the other times when we are not in front of the idol? We are not in front of the puja shrine, sitting there. What is to be done? Then what is worship actually? This is the Bhagavata Dharma, and that one of the yogis, he says, the worship should be like this. कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वानुसृतस्वभावात् करोति यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयेत्तत्. कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा. The worship just cannot be lighting a lamp and incense stick, cleaning the idols and chanting some hymns. Suppose you do all that. Maybe you take 2 hours. Maybe you take 3 hours. Maybe you do it morning and evening. But your mind is not there. You are doing it mechanically, without any thought. While doing all those worshipping acts, your mind is somewhere else, where you are grumbling, where you are having feeling of dislike towards somebody, and some thoughts where something went wrong. You are constantly, the mind is chattering over that subject. Then that is no worship. So this Bhagavata Dharma says that your worship should be every moment. Every moment should be divine and worshipful. How do you do it? So whatever you do bodily, whatever you speak out, whatever you think by your mind, and whatever your senses are attracted to, all that, along with your buddhi, your intelligence, everything should get associated with the Lord. Whatever you do, a simple act of maybe cooking the food, don't think that you are cooking the food for your family, what your son likes, or your likes, or what your husband likes, and you are cooking for the whole family. Maybe you have invited some guests and you made very good dishes for them with an expectation that when they take food, they will say, oh, she is a very good cook. No. Every day food should be cooked for the Lord. So when you cook, you should think about the Lord. That today I am making his food, I am so fortunate, and I will offer it to him, and then we will all partake. Then it becomes prasada. Similarly, maybe you are washing vessels in the kitchen. It should be as if you have got some duty in the temple, washing the puja vessels. Maybe you are washing clothes. You must think that suppose I was given a chance to serve a Mahatma, wash his clothes, how my mind will feel blessed. Now also my mind should feel blessed like that. We are not doing like that. Through every piece of work that we do, whether it is in the house, or in the office, or in the profession, or in the school and colleges, everywhere we can associate God. When we go to the office, whatever work we get, we must think, oh God, today you have given me this work. Some work I like, some I do not like, some I do under favorable situations, some I do under unfavorable situations. But I must remember, everything that comes across, it is given by you, and you alone are there. So when we think like that, what happens? We are immediately associated to God. Suppose while doing some work in your office, you find it difficult, there has been some argument with your boss, or a subordinate is not listening to you, then also you can think that I will still think that as I am a creator of God, similarly this person is. And his nature is his, which has been created by God. I will not be irritated because my God doesn't like his devotees to be irritated and angry. I'll still adjust and try to see whether I can make this person work with love. So whenever situations like this come, if we can associate God, think about God, everything becomes divine and everything becomes a worship. So kayena, by body whatever you are doing, vacha, talk about good things to everybody, not unnecessary things, how many saris we have bought, how many cars are there in the market, which is the one best now. Not all those things. Whatever is necessary for your living, go and buy that. But unnecessary talk over those is not necessary. If you look into yourself, you will find most of our time is spent in unnecessary talk and thoughts. So, whenever you can, talk about God, sing about Him, learn some hymns, some shlokas, and sing. If you cannot learn, only take His name, Narayana, Narayana, Shiva, Shiva, Krishna, Krishna, something you say. But make your mind focused on Him. Think about His form. Then you will find whatever work you are doing also, that also becomes very divine, very delightful, and very blissful. Many times while doing work, we feel, oh, will I not ever get any free time? Always working, working, working. But if you can think that everything, with every moment, I think about God, He is with me, then you will find everything becomes easy. You know, when the ashram, when I first joined the ashram, I am a North Indian. I happened to go to a South Indian ashram where because my guru is there, I wanted to serve him. And I felt so blessed that my guru immediately gave me many responsibilities to take charge of. So, though I went to the ashram and there was an expectation that my guru will be talking something elevating to the mind, something very devotional or spiritual, those moments were less because I had to work a lot. Very soon I understood that I am doing my guru's seva. Whatever I am doing, it revolves around him and him alone. If I can remember this, that everything that I am looking after in the ashram, it is because he is associated with it, then I will not feel unhappy that he is not sitting with a Bhagavad Gita and telling me something. So what happened? I started in that manner and thinking that everything that I am doing, that is a worship that I am doing. Whether it was cleaning the kitchen, whether it was giving food to somebody, whether it was waking up at night and finishing some editing work or editing the letters that he wrote, many other work I was doing. And looking after the devotees who came, their needs, everything became a worship. So sometimes while doing work in the kitchen, from morning till night, there will be work. So I would get tired. But I remember, I used to think and talk that, oh Lord, my hands are becoming tired, but give me strength in the mind, give me that devotion in the mind so that I can do your work perfectly and well, so that you are pleased with me. I become dear to you. So when we are having such feelings, many times throughout the day, we grumble that I'm not able to take up so much burden, or not, this work I don't like, I'm still having to do. These can be the thoughts. Kayena vacha, manasa indriyairva. And all the thoughts that you have, think about him, not your children, grandchildren, your house, you're going out somewhere, partying somewhere, buying somewhere, some things. If the mind goes, the mind is very restless, it will go to those thoughts. Bring it back again to the beautiful form of the Lord and think about him and his excellences, the sports that he did, and the devotion that gets generated by thinking about him. And buddhya, by buddhi. Even through buddhi, whatever you are deciding, decide whatever is good for me, my devotion, to increase my devotion, to deepen my devotion, I will take to that path. Suppose you are used to some friends who will be constantly, calling you for some gatherings where only, what are the gatherings? Only talking about others. Only talking about others. Nothing else. So you are used to that. But when you have taken to this path and you want to worship Achyuta, you start feeling that there is no meaning in these gatherings. So you have to decide which path you will take. So through buddhi, you decide what should be your worship. Thinking what? You will be more and more devoted. More and more devotion will grow in you. So like that, whatever you do, you must be thinking of the Lord and constantly feeling, "O Lord, I am what I am. I am with all good and bad. I don't know whether I am pure. I may be having many impurities, but I surrender at your feet wholesomely, completely, sincerely, truly. And if I am not, make me worthy and make me a devotee of yours." Who can stop us from thinking like this? Don't tell me that I don't have time. While doing work, while driving, while washing, while taking bath, can we not think like this? Can we not cry to God and say that make me worthy and make me a devotee, true devotee? Nobody can stop. It is when we say that we don't have time, we are deceiving ourselves. We are escaping from ourselves. We just deceive. So, Kavi says, one whose mind is turned away from the Lord, there will be no awareness of his true self. That he is a devotee, that his real identity is the Lord himself, who is there inside the heart, he will not understand. He will mistakenly identify himself with the body, and what will happen? Desire after desire will come into the mind and make him suffer and suffer and suffer. So, any wise man who comes to know that Lord is the supreme thing who is to be attained in this life should wholeheartedly serve the Lord with true devotion and recognizing the Supreme Lord's presence in all the deities. We have got so many deities. If you go to the puja room of many people, so many deities are there. How to clean them all? And should you keep them unclean? If you are taking bath, you should clean all the deities and idols and pictures that you have kept on your puja room. You have gathered so much, but you don't clean them every day because we don't have time. Then why have you kept? Why are you taking bath? Why are you wearing a new dress or a fresh dress if you are not able to clean the deities and idols which you have kept on your puja shrine? So, you have to see in the deities the presence of the one universal Supreme Lord, and also in the Guru. There is no difference between God and Guru, and everything, every being, every creature. In every creature he is. And that is why it is said that he is all-pervading. The God and the Guru are same. That has to be seen. So what one must do for worshipping? Kayena vacha manasendriyairva, with all our bodily acts, with our words, with our mind, the thoughts, with our senses, whatever we are interacting with, and the intelligence, with everything we should worship the Lord. Associating him, thinking about him, and telling him that I am doing this work. And sometimes I am doing this work thinking that I am doing it with that I-ness and the mindness. But please let all these be removed and let my surrender be complete. And also, do not have any differentiation between the gods and Guru. So, like this, Kavi was saying, then the thing is that how to bring about this kind of devotion. We may worship, still, what is further? What we should do? So Kavi says, Shrinvan subhadrani rathangapane janmani karmani chayani loke gitani namani tadarthakani gayan vilajjo vichareda sangaha evam vrata swapriyanama kirtya जातानुरागो द्रुतचित्त उच्चैः हसत्यथो रोदिति रौति गायति Unmadavanrityati lokabahyaha kham vayumagnim salilam mahim cha jyotim shisatvani dishodrumadin sarit samudraംश्च hare shariram yatkincha bhutam pranamedananyah kham vayumagnim salilam mahim cha jyotimshi satvani dishodrumadin sarit samudramscha hare shariram yatkincha bhutam pranamedananyaha. He says, for any devotee to grow devotion, Shrinvan Subhadrani Rathangapane, about the Supreme Lord, Sri Hari, Mahavishnu. Listen about His excellences. Keep on listening, which will take away all the impurities from your mind. All the impurities, the agitations and the desires, the expectations that we have in our mind, which constantly put us into sorrow and suffering. All that will be removed. And also listen about all the deeds, the sportive deeds that he did. If you get any chance to hear about those, go and listen. If you have any chance to read about those, read. Gitani namani tadarthakani gayan vilajjo vichareda sangaha. And you roam about everywhere. Vichared asangaha. Just alone you roam about. Tell people, I have heard this. I have read this. And gayan vilajjo, without any shame. Sing loudly His name. Whenever you can, sing. You are doing your work, sing. In the office also, when something mechanically you are doing, just hum His name. Vicharet asangaha. Be asangaha. All the problem to us, it comes because we feel I am. This is me and all these are mine. I have done this and these people are mine, so I do things for them. I acquire things for them. So, be disattached. Do not be attached. Do not have possessiveness and do not feel shameful to sing loudly God's name. See, when Swamiji says Om in the hall or any gathering, every time he has to say, all of you have not chanted. Why? Because some people, they feel shy. They feel shy to sing or chant Om even. Because they feel, oh, what will the neighbor think of me? I am chanting so loudly. I, a very reserved person, suddenly sitting for a lecture, I am chanting shoutingly Om. So people will feel or deride me or ridicule me. That should not be. A devotee should be open-hearted. Any time you like, you chant God's name. Evam brata swapriya nama kirtya. If you sing like this, God's name, and God has many names. That is why Vishnu Sahasranama, Krishna Ashtottara, that is all there. The 108 names of Krishna, 1,000 names of Vishnu, 1,000 names of Shiva, Devi, everything is there. So, when you sing like that, what happens? Evam vrata swapriya nama kirtya. When you chant, see, many people chant Vishnu Sahasranama every day. They will not take even breakfast without chanting. But they should grow love for the Lord by this. What is that? Swapriyanama kirtya. As you call your child with lot of love, sometimes with this name, sometimes with that name, that kind of love should grow when you take the names of the Lord. It should not be a mechanically chanted thing. It should be chanted with love. What we do is we just chant. And we are always thinking when the last page will come and I will be able to get up. This is what we do. But this says, Evam vratasva priyanama kirtya jatanurago druta chitta uchchaihi. So, when you chant with lot of love, slowly, 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 anuraga develops. That is, love develops. Love increases. As it happens, when the child is born, I don't think the mother loves him that much. Only the mother feels that I have become a mother. This is my child. But as days pass and the mother brings the child up, gives it bath, puts dresses on him, feeds him, and all other things, watches how he plays, everything. Slowly, 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 the anuraga, the love also grows. And of course, with that, attachment also grows. Possessiveness also grows. So, it says, if you sing like this, your anuraga for Lord will grow. Sing like what? With whole heart. Understanding whose name you are singing, understanding that He is the most near and dear one. He is the one, if He is worshipped, all my fear and anxiety will go. But we do not understand that. We call our child's name so many times, in various tunes sometimes, and we do not understand that these people, the perishable people will not be able to protect us at all. In Jamshedpur once, when Swamiji's, any baby is brought to Swamiji, young baby, Swamiji takes the child in the lap and puts some sugar into the mouth of the child. So once in Jamshedpur, a big party came. The mother, the father, the child, the grandmother, the grandfather, all of them. So Swamiji took the child, and the mother was very proud. Her first baby being taken by a Swami, being blessed, sugar being given. So I asked the mother, what is his name? She looked at me in a very sweet way and said, whatever name comes to the mind, with love we call that. So we call our children with love. But how many of us call the Lord's name with love? We do not. Children, and another time, another boy, I asked this few months back, what is your name? She said, my mother calls this, my father calls this, my grandmother this, my grandfather this. So many names are there. Everybody is calling with love. But that love, even more, has to be generated for the Lord. When we chant Vishnu Sahasranama, do we chant with that love? We do not. We just think that by chanting Vishnu Sahasranama, my family will be protected. I will be acquiring punya. That is why I am chanting. Hasat jatanurago druta chitta uchchaihi hasatyatho roditi rauti gayati unmadavanrityati lokabahyaha. So, slowly when your anuraga develops, the love develops, then what happens? You start feeling like calling out loudly His name. And sometimes you become so overwhelmed with devotion. When you loudly call His name, you think about Him, you're filled with devotion. Something melts in the heart and you start laughing sometimes. Sometimes tears will fall from the eyes, like torrential rain. And sometimes you will be singing. Sometimes even you will feel like dancing with your two hands up. Loka bahyaha. You will not be shameful. You will feel like doing that because you will feel a communion with the Lord in the heart. Kham vayumagnim salilam mahim cha jyotim satvani dishodrumadin sarit samudrams hare shariram yatkincha bhutam pranamedananyah kham vayumagnim salilam mahim cha. Then the question comes, am I only to think of the Lord, His form, and then get this devotion? And then only my mind gets filled with devotion and I sing and dance. What about the other times when I am acting and interacting? What shall I do then? Because all the time I am not seeing the forms of the Lord. I am seeing the forms of people. Some I like, some I don't. Some I dislike very much. Some favorable situations come and some unfavorable situations also come. So what am I to do then? So it is saying this. It is saying God is all pervading. You find God in everything that you do. Kham akasha, sky. Vayu is wind. Agni is fire. Salilam, water. Mahim, earth, the Panchabhutas. Jyotimshi, the celestial objects. Satvani, all the elements. Disho, Drumadin. Dishaha is all the directions. And Drumadin, the plants and trees. Sarit is river. Samudra is ocean. So we have covered everything that we come across every day. And interacting with them, looking at them, what we should do, what we should think. Hare Shariram. We should think all these things are part of the Lord's body. He is all pervading. He is everywhere. He is a Virat. And everywhere he is. So everything belongs to him and is part of his body. Hare Shariram. And when we feel that, suppose a Lord is to come in front of me, what will I do? Immediately we will do pranam. Immediately we will do like this and do namaskar. Similarly, when that realization and experience is there, then everything that I see, the people are sitting in front of me, the camera is there, this webcast camera is there, the chairs, the curtains, the watch, the walls, and outside the trees, everything is He. So, day to day, every moment, at least by practice we must think that. And what we should do pranam. Actually, we should fall flat at the feet of people. And not only people, animals, birds, anything. If you cannot do that, at least mentally we should do. Do pranam. Pranamed ananyaha. Ananyaha, ananya bhakti. With unique and exclusive devotion, we should find the God in everything and everything. This is what we should do. This is what is Bhagavata Dharma. What is Bhagavata Dharma? It is saying, Kayena vacha manasendriyairva. How we will be able to worship like that? With our body, with our thought, with our mind, with our senses, with our buddhi. How will we do? This is the method. That see Him everywhere. And then you will find everything becomes divine and devotional. Nothing is different. Bhakti pareshanubhavo viraktihi anyatra chaishatrika ekakalaha prapadyamanasya yathashnatasyuhu tushti pushti kshudapayo nughasam. Bhakti pareshanubhavo viraktihi anyatra chaishatrika ekakalaha prapadyamanasya yathashnatasyuhu tushti pushti kshudapayo nughasam. If you follow this Bhagavata Dharma, what will happen to you, you know? He says, as when a person is hungry and you give a morsel of food, you give food to him, he takes morsel after morsel, then what happens? Slowly his hunger gets appeased, he becomes very pleased, and he starts getting strength. Three things happen together. What is it? Hunger gets appeased, he feels pleased, and he starts getting strength. So, here also, if you follow the Bhagavata Dharma, that is, try to worship the Lord with your whole being and seeing the Lord everywhere, then what will happen, you know? you will have bhakti, you will have virakti, that is bhakti, devotion, that will increase and deepen. And as bhakti deepens, you will not find interest in many of the things of the world. You will find that unnecessarily I was engaged in all these things. So virakti, dispassion. And you will have pareshanubhavaha, the realization and the feeling and experience of Him in your heart. Ityachyutangrim bhajato nuvritya bhaktir viraktir bhagavat prabodhaha bhavanti vai bhagavatasya rajan tatah param shantim upaiti sakshat ityachyutangrim bhajato nuvritya bhaktir viraktir bhagavat prabodhaha bhavanti vai bhagavatasya rajan tatah param shantim upaiti sakshat. And if you do this, if ityachyutangrim, Achyuta, I told you, Krishna's name, Sri Hari's name is Achyuta. He is immovable, unshakable. Ityachyutangrim bhajato nuvritya. If you worship Achyuta, don't forget, I told you that shloka. Manye akutaschid bhayam achyutasya padambujopasanamatra nityam udvigna buddhera sadatma bhavat vishvatmana yatra nivartate bhihi. For those who are suffering in this world, the only remedy is to worship the holy lotus feet of Achyuta. So, he has given how you should worship. And it says, when you worship the holy lotus feet of Achyuta, anubritya, bhajato anubritya. Anubritya means repeatedly. It's not that morning 10 minutes, even half an hour, 1 hour, not sufficient. Anubritya, repeatedly and every moment. Then, bhaktir viraktir bhagavat prabodhaha. Bhagavata is promising you that you will have bhakti, devotion, dispassion to the word, devotion for the Lord, Supreme Lord. It will grow and grow and grow and deepen, and virakti will take place. It will be dispassion. You will get dispassion, that is, unnecessary things you will leave. And bhagavat prabodhaha, you will realize the Lord, the self in your heart. Bhavanti vai bhagavatasya rajan. He is telling Nimi Chakravarti, hey Rajan, O King, if repeatedly you worship the Lord like this, then what will happen? You will have bhakti, virakti and bhagavat prabodhaha, and ultimately you will have param shantim, supreme peace you will have, which all of us want. Our mind is agitated, always it is torn by cluttering thoughts, anxiety and tension, and on the top of everything by fear. And if we worship like this, what will happen? The mind will become absolutely calm, peaceful, and that peace will be such which will be never disappearing. It will be always there, eternal peace. So, this is the way the devotion has to be grown. Now, what are the kinds of devotees who had this? I will tell you about Prahlada, the little boy, 7-year-old, who was the son of Hiranyakashipu, an asura. Asuras are those who have tamasic tendencies. They are cruel. They do not follow the Bhagavata Dharma. They do not follow the Dharma itself. And they are always out to insult the Vedas, the deities, the gods, the Brahmins, the holy people, the cows, they are out to disrespect and insult. And they are very cruel. So, one such asura was Hiranyakashipu. His brother was Hiranyaksha. In one encounter, when Hiranyaksha became very, very cruel and torturous, Mahavishnu had killed him. So Hiranyakashipu thought in his mind that from now on, Mahavishnu is my enemy. And he wanted to conquer all the gods. So what he did, he went to do tapasya. He went to do tapasya to the valley of Mandara mountain. And it was a very, very terrible kind of tapasya that he did. He wanted to be invincible, he wanted to be deathless, he wanted to be unaging, and he wanted to be the unchallenged sovereign over all the worlds. So he went for a tapasya, which is very severe. So when he went, he was holding his two hands high up in the sky. His gaze was fixed on the sky, staring and staring. He stood on his toes and he started propitiating Brahma. When he did such fierce kind of tapasya, all the rivers and oceans swelled up by the force and power of the tapasya. That is austerity. Tapasya means austerity. Penance. Tapasya actually means penance. Earth and the mountains had tremors. Everything started shaking because of his power of penance. Planets and stars seemed to fall down from the sky, and all the 10 directions seemed aglow with fire. So all the creatures in the earth, they started having a lot of fear and restlessness. They did not know where to run to. And he did this tapasya over 100 years. And started eating up his flesh, his bones even. And anthill started covering his body, and he got completely disappeared under anthill and reeds and grasses. Now, scorched by this penance, all the devatas, the gods, they went to Brahma for relief. They went and fell at his feet that please protect us. We are feeling so scorched by this heat of his penance, we don't know what to do. So Brahma went there along with some other rishis. Brahma, first of all, did not find him at all because it was all anthill. Then somehow he located him and then smilingly said, I am astonished at the wonderful determination that you have. Nobody can do tapasya for so many years and you have done it. Whereas your body has been eaten away partly. Still you are doing your tapasya because you want to propitiate me. So, I am very pleased with your penance. Brahma and Shiva, Vishnu, all were sometimes when propitiated, they would be very pleased and they will be ready to give boons. So Brahma said, I am very pleased with your tapasya. I am ready to give you a boon. So, first of all, what Brahma did was, he sprinkled some holy water on him, and Hiranyakashipu emerged as a very young man with full of mental and physical vigor. His body had been eaten away, but he got a new body. Then he humbly prostrated and shedding tears of joy, sung hymns of praise for Brahma. So Brahma was very happy. Brahma said, you ask any boon, I am ready to give. Then Hiranyakashipu said, if you are ready to give me a boon, please give me this boon, that grant that none among thy creation shall be able to kill me. That is, nobody should be able to kill me. So I should be Amara. And also, it will be, if at all somebody kills me, it should be impossible to kill me during night, during day, on the earth or in the sky, by a man, by an animal. That is, neither I should be killed in night, nor I should be killed in the day, not on the earth, that is on the ground, not in the sky, not by a man, not by an animal. So every possibility he has blocked off. And then he says, nothing, not even by anybody having life or not having life. Not by devas, not by asuras, and not even by snakes. No opponent should be able to face me in a battle, and I shall become the emperor of the world. So what can Brahma do? He had promised, I'll give you a boon. So Brahma said, okay, your boon is very unusual, but still I give you the boon and go ahead. So Brahma left. Now he got very strengthened by this boon, and he conquered all the three worlds. He conquered and he brought everything under his control. All the gods, including Indra, they simply fled the heavens. And he became the emperor of the heavens also. All the three worlds, that is the earth, the heaven and the patala. All the three worlds he captured, and he became the only one emperor. He conquered everything. Only thing which he could not conquer was his senses. He was proud. He was very proud. He became infatuated with wealth and power. He became arrogant, and he transgressed all the scriptural injunctions. He became like that. Everybody was afraid of him, and he became a menace to the good people. All the holy men he was after, he would torture them, insult them, disregard them, disrespect them, and sometimes they were even cursing him, the holy people. Now what happened? All the rulers in all the worlds, they became so oppressed by his rule, by Hiranyakashipu's rule, that they were writhing in agony. So they went, now where to go? Brahma has given the boon. So they went to Achyuta, Mahavishnu, and fell at his feet and said, please protect. This Hiranyakashipu is simply making us feel that we are dead. So please protect this earth. Then Achyuta, invisibly, there was an invisible voice which said, I know this Hiranyakashipu's actions, and I will curb him. I will bring about his death through his own son, who is a high-souled and a great devotee. And he also said, that invisible voice, Yada deveshu vedeshu goshu vipreshu sadhushu dharme maicha vidveshaha sava ashu vinashyati. Whenever anybody does insult to the devatas, that is gods, to the Veda, to the cows, to the Brahmins, to the saintly people, to dharma and to me, then you should understand his death is imminent. So now I will take care. So Prahlada was one of the four sons of Hiranyakashipu. Though he was a son of an asura, he never had asura qualities. He had very good qualities, noble qualities, and he was very devoted to the holy people, and he was exemplary in his conduct. He was very truthful. He had all mastery over his senses. He was a 7-year-old boy. He was dear to all beings as his own self, and everybody found in him as a closest friend. Everybody thought he is my close friend. Like even our Swamiji, all the devotees feel that I am very close to him. He likes me very much. So when one has no ego, one becomes so for everybody. One becomes friendly to everybody. There is no distinction. He attended on the wise as a servant. He was loving to the poor and afflicted as a parent. And to his equals, he was like a brother. And he viewed his teachers as God himself. And his learning, his wealth, he was the son of the emperor. So very wealthy. He was beautiful. He had a noble birth, but it never caused any pride or ego in him. So he never had any asura qualities. The asuras are egoistic, They are very proud. So he had all good qualities in him. And his mind naturally flowed towards Achyuta, Vasudeva. He did not have to make any effort because his mind flowed towards the Lord. He would be always thinking of the Lord. Vasudeve Bhagavati Yasya Naisargaki Ratihi Vasudeve Bhagavati Yasya Naisargiki Ratihi. Ratihi. He felt delight in thinking about the God. And that was uneffortful. He did not have to make any effort. His mind went there. You know why? When his father went for tapasya, penance, at that time, the Indra, he came and captured and driven out all the asuras from their place. And he captured many of them, including Hiranyakashipu's wife. Indra captured her and was taking her to his realm. Narada came and intervened and said, she is a very noble lady, born in a very good family. Please don't do this to her. And Narada took her to his own ashram and kept her there. There she served Narada as anybody would serve a Maharishi. She also served. She was pregnant then. Prahlada was in the womb. So Narada, throughout the day, through many words, he used to give her some lessons on devotion, which Prahlada used to hear through in the womb itself. And from then onwards, he developed that kind of devotion for the Lord, which he had so deeply, so strongly, that nobody could make him deviate from that. And not only that his mind was flowing naturally to the Lord, he always felt that he is embraced by the Lord. Govinda Parirambhitaha. These are the messages. When we read it, when we hear it also. Vasudeve Bhagavati Yasya Naisargiki Ratihi. Immediately, dear souls, we must think that if this small young boy could have it, why not I? What is this? Vasudeve Bhagavati Yasya Naisargiki Ratihi. My mind now goes here and there, everywhere, except God. When will that day come? When my mind also naturally flow towards the God, naturally think about Him, naturally find all pleasure in Him. Now we find pleasure in meeting people, in going out for partying or buying certain things or anything else, discussing, many other objects. But when will that day come when I will find that my mind flows, whatever I do, I am a householder, all of you are householders, whatever we do, my mind is always looking for that time when I will be able to think about Him. Or throughout my work and my deeds and my talk and my responsibilities, I will remain associated with Him. I will always feel Him around me. When will that moment come? To hear this and to read this, that effect should be that. It is not that we simply listen and think that, Prahlada was a little boy whose mind used to flow to the Lord. It's not like that. Associate everything. Identify yourself with the characters. Then only the devotion will grow. Why it is said that you should listen and you should read, you should ruminate? Be a Prahlada yourself. Identify whatever you read, you identify yourself with that. And you will find you have had the effect of the devotion which Prahlada is having. And he was Govinda Parirambhitaha. He was always as if in the embrace of the Lord. Can we think about that? We feel very happy if a small grandchild comes and embraces you. You are looking forward to the grandchild coming back from the school. Old grandparents nowadays, all the children, they will be leaving their children with the grandparents. Poor old grandparents, one grandmother was saying, I have to play cricket with my grandson. I was thinking, my goodness. When she otherwise talks, she says, I'm very sick, I cannot even do household work. How is she playing cricket with the grandson? Because anuragaha. Anuraga for the grandchild is so much that playing cricket also you don't feel, you want to tell everybody, I am playing cricket with my grandson. Even if you are allowed, you will publish it in the newspaper and put it in the media. But you will not take the name of God. You will not spend any time with Him. This is our condition. So, this word, when I first heard it, I heard it from Swamiji while he was lecturing from a platform. Govinda Parirambhitaha, that embrace of the Lord. I felt I am embraced by the Lord. And whenever that feeling would go away, I would feel, why do I lose it? What should I do to keep this embrace ever and ever? Not to feel alone at all, not to feel insecure at all. Always feel that He is embracing me. And what is that embrace? It is the supreme, most beautiful, blissful embrace that we can have. Anyway, this was Prahlada. And then Hiranyakashipu, when the child grew up, he sent him to study. Shanda and Amarka, they were two sons of their guru, Shukracharya. Shukracharya is the guru in the Asura race. His two sons, Shanda and Amarka, they used to live nearby and teach other children, Asura children. So Hiranyakashipu sent, those days it was Gurukula system. Even the kings will send their children to the guru's house to study. Prahlada also was sent. And Prahlada started learning. After some days, one day Hiranyakashipu called the child, put him on his lap, and kissing him, patting him, showing lot of love, asked, my dear child, can you tell me, what do you consider to be true and good? What lesson have you learnt from your teachers? I think he never expected the reply. Prahlada said, Hitvatmapatam grihamandhakupam vanam gato yad harimashrayeta. Hitvatmapatam grihamandhakupam vanam gato yad harimashrayeta. He said, O Lord of the Asuras, my father, all embodied beings are overpowered with body consciousness. They consider this body as I. And consequently, they are subject to lot of sorrow and suffering because they identify with the body. So the body undergoes lot of changes, and so because he has mistakenly identified with the body, though the soul is ever free and unaffected, keeps on thinking that I am sorrowful and all this suffering is mine. So if anybody has to get rid of this suffering in this world, shoka moha bhaya, if we have to transcend suffering and delusion, infatuation and fear, then what we should do is we must propitiate the Lord. We must grow devotion for the Supreme Lord, Sri Hari. And I think the best thing will be to leave the house. Who is saying? Prahlada is telling the father. He said, the best thing is to leave the house. To grow devotion for the Supreme Lord, one must leave the house and go to some secluded place, contemplate on Sri Hari, and who is the destroyer of all suffering. The poor little child is telling his father, who is a Raja Chakravarti, the emperor, and who is an enemy of Lord Vishnu. He is telling him that the highest thing in this world is to grow devotion for Lord Hari. And for that one must leave and go to the forest. That is one instruction for the father also. Go and live and contemplate on Lord Hari. You can understand what happened. Hiranyakashipu's eyes started becoming red with anger. And he asked Shanda and Amarka that how this child has learned all these things. Then he himself felt maybe he has not learned. Maybe somebody had come and brainwashed him and told him all those things. So he told Chanda and Amarka, see to it that nobody comes to the house. Nobody comes to the house and nobody is able to brainwash him like this and teach him good things. What are the good things? Dharma, Artha and Kama. Nothing about liberation, nothing about devotion he should be learning. Only how he can acquire things and how he can enjoy. So this you should Now, Chanda and Amarka, they called the boy aside when Hiranyakashipu left and told him, see, how are you talking like this? Who has taught you? You are a thorny tree in a sandalwood forest. You are an Asura boy. You should talk like Asuras. You are talking like something very devotional. So somebody must have taught you. And this cannot go on. And Prahlada said, just like when there is a magnet and iron filings, the iron filings will go and get attracted and get stuck to the magnet. My mind is like that. What can I do? It is like that. So Chanda and Amarka said, nothing doing. You please learn what we are teaching you. And started teaching again. After some time, again the father brought the child. Now the father is anxious. First time he was not anxious. He thought the child will be saying whatever Chanda and Amarka are teaching. This time he is very anxious. He took the child on the lap and again very sweetly said, after showing lot of love to him, tell me about the best lessons you have learnt. You know what Prahlada said? Shravanam kirtanam Vishnoh smaranam padasevanam archanam vandanam dasyam sakhyam nivedanam. Shravanam kirtanam Vishnoh smaranam padasevanam archanam vandanam dasyam sakhyam nivedanam iti pumsarpita Vishnu bhaktischennava kriyeta bhagavatyadha tanmanyedhitamuttamam shravanam kirtanam Vishnoh. My goodness, Hiranyakashipu never expected that he will say this. What is he saying? When he asked, what is the best of lessons that you have learned, oh my dear boy? He said, I have learned only this, that hearing about Vishnu, doing kirtana about Vishnu, singing his praise, remembering him and doing service to him, doing his archana and worship, saluting him, being his servant and considering him to be the best of the friends and completely surrendering at his feet. These are the lakshana, characteristics of a bhakta, and everybody must acquire these. If anything has to be taught, these have to be taught. If anything has to be learned, these have to be learned. Prahlada said, without any fear. He said, I have understood only this, that this will be the highest education of every human being, that sing about him. Shrinvan subhadrani rathangapane. We just now sang. And Gitani namani yadatthakani. All these things you must sing. So, he says, we must hear about him. We must sing about him. We must remember him. We must do his service to the Lord. And we must worship him. We must salute him. We should think that I am a servant of him and he is my best friend. I should completely surrender myself at his feet. These are the 9 things which any devotee should learn, and that is the best of education. This is what he said. So, he became very angry, Hiranyakashipu. His lips started trembling, his eyes became red, and he again called Chanda and Amarka and said, what have you taught him? Both of you together? I never expected that he will teach all these things. They said, please excuse us, we have not taught. Then who has taught? They said, I think it is his natural thing in his mind. He naturally feels like this. It is neither that we have taught, nor somebody else have come and taught. And then he said that Prahlada was asked by Hiranyakashipu, when the teacher said like this, that it is his natural tendency to think like this. We have not taught. Nobody has come and taught. He is only thinking about it himself because his mind is attracted towards the Lord. So Hiranyakashipu with red eyes asked the son, tell me, who has taught you all these things? Then he starts to say who has taught and how he feels. Tomorrow we will see that. Shrinvan subhadrani rathangapane janmani karmani chayani loke gitani namani tadarthakani gayan vilajjo vichareda sangaha evam vrata स्वप्रिय नाम कीर्त्या जातानुरागो द्रुतचित्त उच्चैः हसत्यथो रोदितिरौति गायति उन्मादवन्नृत्यति लोकबाह्यः खं वायुमग्निं सलिलं महीं च ज्योतिंषि सत्त्वानि दिशो द्रुमादीन् सरित् समुद्रांश्च हरे शरीरं यत्किञ्च भूतं प्रणमेदनन्यः भक्तिपरेशानुभवो विरक्तिः अन्यत्र चैषत्रिक एककालः प्रपद्यमानस्य यथाश्नतस्युः तुष्टिः पुष्टिक्षुदपायोऽनुघासम् इत्यच्युताङ्घ्रिं भजतोऽनुवृत्त्या भक्तिर्विरक्तिर्भगवत्प्रबोधः भवन्ति वै भागवतस्य राजन् ततो परां शान्तिम् उपैति साक्षात् इत्यच्युताङ्घ्रिं भजतोऽनुवृत्त्या भक्तिर्विरक्तिर्भगवत्प्रबोधः भवन्ति वै भागवतस्य राजन् ततः परां शान्तिम् उपैति साक्षात्। जय गुरु, जय गुरु, जय गुरु।